Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So Ethereum has done nothing that wasn't expected or that we didn't talk about. So Ether is still, according to the roadmap, hasn't invalidated anything or anything, in fact, it actually respected resistance. So I haven't left the resistance area that was respected on the chart because I have adjusted it to what resistance is now. However, for those who follow us on X or watched yesterday's video, this was the resistance area here yesterday between 3083 and 2996. This is what was respected. The price rallied into resistance and has seen a rejection. As per the white scenario, another 4-5 pattern was expected. However, the wave 4 was not strong enough to be really a reliable wave 4. And as I mentioned also yesterday, it was most likely, or we would expect most likely, an extended third wave. So if you watched yesterday's videos, then you were aware that I said it was highly likely that the actual third wave to the downside is extending. So my current interpretation is that the rally we've had yesterday, or rather call it sideways consolidation here, that this was actually part of an unfolding third wave to the downside, and therefore there is currently no change. And I still expect this to be the third wave at the moment, because yesterday, where we've seen that reaction here, that was middle of the day yesterday, pretty much afternoon. This was only the 1.236 extension level of the initial 1-2 setup, and a little bit too short for a reliable third wave. And also the fourth wasn't really healthy. So I assume that this is still the third. And I'll tidy up the chart a bit, but we're now in the main target zone for that third wave. We've dipped deeper into it. I shared a few more Fibonacci extensions yesterday to indicate where the third wave could extend to. And we've now reached basically the 1.786 extension here at 2008.40. Okay, so these are levels now where I would be watching for the fourth wave to start. Resistance is now 2,918 to 3,013. So please no panic, because at the moment everything is still, according to an impulse down in the C wave. So no change really. We haven't even seen a lower low on the ETH chart. I'd like to see that eventually before this correction completes, which means ideally a low below 2,770, which is the 13th of April low point. On this chart also, we have the next larger degree Fibonacci levels. 2,790 is not only support from the 13th of April, but it's also the 100% Fibonacci extension level. Below that, we have 2,600 and then 2,500. As I mentioned before, the 2,500 level is a key target for this C wave to the downside. Here, wave C of Y of 4. I showed you yesterday how this is being calculated. There is some Fibonacci confluence. There are a couple of levels that point towards $2,500. So of course, I can't promise you that the correction will be completed there, but it means that we have to consider and, let's say, prepare for a drop into that region. Now, I have to say one thing. Bitcoin is obviously in a different situation. Bitcoin has dropped into precisely where we wanted it, 57K roundabout. Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday. So Bitcoin is already a little bit further ahead. We just need to consider that Bitcoin's RSI is also oversold on the daily time frame. So here, I mean, everything is, I think, okay. I think you know about everything. You know the support levels, you know the resistance. And yeah, it takes a break above 3,030 in an impulsive manner to suggest the low is in. Until then, every rally that I see is likely a wave 4, okay, into resistance. I did introduce yesterday the yellow count, which is an alternative perspective of a larger corrective rally. So if we start to rally from here, it could be, before making a lower low, it could be this C wave. But we're now in a situation where a bounce could happen in wave 4. So watch that. Only above 3,030, I would assume that a more substantial low has formed. And wanted to share with you the indicators on the daily time frame because they are relevant in these situations. Bitcoin's RSI, as I said, is nearly oversold. That is a good buy indicator or historically, it's been a good buy indicator. Here on the ETH chart, we are close to being oversold. So the last time we had a decent rally, the RSI was higher actually, okay? And also here in October, the RSI was higher. But also here you can see when we were really oversold, it was a really, really good buy signal. Now again, not always. Bitcoins works better, okay? The RSI on the ETH chart is not necessarily such a great indicator as on the Bitcoin chart, but still they would likely move together. Here, for example, we were oversold, but it dropped. But essentially still, if you don't, trade the micro and you leave it a bit of space, also that would have been a really good buy indicator because it did rally afterwards. Okay, and here that was not really oversold, but also you still had a decent run from 1,300 to 2,150. So even if we made lower lows afterwards, historically, typically, when the RSI was oversold, it did get a rally. I mean, even here, yeah, it was from 1,600 to over 2,000. So they are really good indicators. At some point, it might not work anymore, but indicators stop working at some point, when too many people figure it out. But it's been one of the best buy indicators on the Bitcoin chart. And yeah, Ether typically respects it as well. Yeah, that's my update about Ether. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.